Welcome to our channel, friends. We're so excited to show something to you today that we've been working on for a while, and that is this. This is the new pad, the new area for our greenhouse. We're going to talk about why we had to do something like this. We're going to show you the process of doing it and how to do it. And then we're going to show you all the little things we're doing on top to prep for our new Grower Solutions greenhouse. Let's get going. Well, first of all, you ask, why on earth would I have to do something like this? Well, it's because of the terrain on our property. It's the topography. If you can see up there by the barn is about 10 feet higher than over behind me where the house is. And we actually have a ridge that kind of runs through the center of the garden. So all the water from our barn and this whole area of the property runs right down here. So we have a decent amount of slope, and this is the only place I could really put the greenhouse on the property. And even right here, it takes a big dip and before it kind of flattens out where the house pad is. So that is why this corner is about 3.5 feet taller than where it starts over there. So if you remember from previous videos, we had a small greenhouse here. We had a couple of trees that my daughter loved to climb. I had to take those out. Let's show you that whole process, including what's called back dragging. We built this with our tractor, with just our bucket. And we're gonna show you all that right now. Let's go. Well, that was fun to build, but we had some issues with that topsoil that we got, because topsoil in East Texas is basically sugar sand with a teeny tiny bit of clay or organic matter in it. It does not stay put very well. So we had all this. If you can see this right here, that is the old parking lot from a small grocery store in a neighboring town that my friend got for us for free, and it's been sitting actually on our driveway. I was going to use it for the driveway, but I hadn't over the years. And finally, check it out. I was able to use it for this. I'm so happy that I had it. These big chunks of asphalt are helping to keep all of that topsoil in place on the top. Because before we had that and we just had the topsoil mounted up there, we had a horrible erosion problem. I could not keep it in place. You can see there's some of it here, and I had to dig some out on the side. It was a big pain in the rear end, if you know what I'm talking about. So, all right, we got it flattened out pretty good. I am not the best heavy equipment operator or tractor operator, if you want to count that as heavy equipment. It's 35 horse, maybe not. Anyway, I think I got it pretty flat. I think it looks pretty good. And it does have a little bit of a slope from this side to that side. And that's okay, because that is in the long direction of our greenhouse. And it's toward the end wall. So if you do build a pad like this and you've got a little bit of slope toward the end walls, that is fine. That is no big deal. If it's got on a slope toward either one of the sides, it's a Quonset hut. Either one of the sides, that's not going to be a good deal, because then your doors on your end walls aren't going to work properly. So of course, to help with weeds and all that deal, we are putting down our weed barrier fabric. This is the one we use all the time. This is the DeWitt Sunbelt 5 ounce. It is I think it's rated for 20 years. It's really, really tough. It's really, really good stuff. And that is going over this entire pad. So that will not only help mitigate water, but it's obviously going to help with the weed issue. So we're going to extend our fabric actually outside of the walls of our greenhouse so that nothing gets close to the greenhouse. That is the mistake I made in the last little DIY greenhouse that I made. If you didn't see that video, go check at the top of the screen. Okay, so we've set our stakes for the greenhouse, the outline. I'm actually going to be moving these 18 inches that way because I think it's a better position. But let me tell you how I set these up. So I set these up using the 3-4-5 method or basic trigonometry. And as my friend Pete B says on his YouTube channel, Pete B Homesteading, just trig it out, man, just trig it out. So yes, just trig it out. So we've got 40 feet in this direction, we've got 20 feet in this direction, and we're just gonna use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 40 squared plus 20 squared equals c squared, which in this case, the square root of 2,000, which is a squared plus b squared, equals 47 feet, about 9 inches. I think it's 47.7 or 44.7. That's what it is. It's 44.7. Anyway, you do the math yourself for your greenhouse and just figure it out. And then I recommend doing this before you obviously set everything up, and that is set your water. If you're gonna run water in your greenhouse, do it now while you've got your fresh pad, whatever you're doing. If you're gonna use geothermal air circulation, do it now, do before everything's set on top, of course. It's gonna be way easier, build from your base up. So I have put in another frost-free hydrant, and I want that right inside the greenhouse. And I've done this process before, and I will link the video at the top of the screen to show you all the things we went through to install one of these. It's easy, but you gotta follow this certain process, and go check it out. It's a great video. And now something to laugh at me about. All right, we're gonna take you over here and check out where I tapped into this water line. So I was digging this blueberry plant, or the hole for the blueberry plant last year, and I found a water line. I was so excited. I'm like, okay, I finally know where one of the water lines is that one of the previous owners ran on the property. So I dug it up and I found it again. So right past this blueberry, found it, and she is right down there. I tapped in, turned the water off in the well house, tapped into it, ran my line over here to our well hydrant, turned it back on in the well house, turned the water back on, and guess what? Zero water. What's going on here? Checked everything, dug a little bit further next to the hole over here, and actually found another line that was broken off. I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on here? Turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. Guess what? I tapped into a dead line. It's a dead line. There's no water running through it. 2 owners ago, they had a big flower growing operation, and they had like 15 greenhouses on this property, and they ran water lines everywhere. And I don't know what they shut off, what they kept alive. I'm still finding lines all over the place, so yeah, laugh at me. I tapped into a dead line. Now I have to run actually about 60 feet over there, kind of on that side of the well house, to try and find where I know is another line that runs down that side of the property. So at least I can fill in where my hydrant is, and I've got the line run out the side of the greenhouse. It's not gonna delay me building the greenhouse, which is cool. So if you're interested, Grower Solution Quonset hut, it's a 20 by 40. I'm gonna show you step by step how to put it together in a series of videos. I won't give it to you all in one video, maybe 2, maybe 3. We'll see how much footage I take of it, because it is a pretty big process of putting one of those together, and I want to make sure you have all the ins and outs of how to put one together so we can help you out with that. And just remember, we partnered with Grower Solution right now. We're not quite an affiliate member, but they have given us a 10% off discount code for our subscribers only. Go check in the description below the video. So I talked about in my homestead layout video how to lay out your homestead so that it's much easier for you. And that is putting your food that you're growing for your family in close proximity to your house. So as you can see, the greenhouse will be right next to our main garden, right next to, over my shoulder here, our grape enclosure and some of our orchard trees, although there are some on the other property that I talked about. Wasn't a good place to put them because they are so far away through the woods, around this, that, the other thing. I don't have a big farm, so that's a little too far, and they're all right next to our house over here. So if you need to get access to food easy, if you're carrying it to your wash station in your house, your dirty kitchen, whatever it may be, it's a really nice location. You know, it's maybe 50 yards from the front door, which is awesome if I need to go and grab whatever for dinner, some rosemary, some basil, whatever it is, tomatoes. Anyway, that's why it's located here. So I just wanted to give you a preview of what we are doing here on the property with the greenhouse and showing you that we are making some progress and how we put this together. We hope the process of showing you how to do this helps you out. Now go check out this video right here, which shows you how to build a Back to Eden garden. Have a great day. We love you. See you next time. Bye.